Hey guys, welcome back to the Network Podcast where we go all the way crazy. And today I got a special guest. I'm not gonna lie with y'all. I heard Albie's in the building. What, this is a legend? What's going on, Albie? Come on, man. Talk to me a little bit, man. What you got going on up here?
Pulled up on me, man. You pulled up the Fire Brand. What you think? How you like it?
It's crazy up here. I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm liking the vibes. I'm liking every single vibe, man. So what you got going on? Can you please just introduce yourself to my audience, man? First of all,
my name is Albie. Some people call me Cheddar. I'm an entrepreneur. You know that if you know me, you know I'm extremely entrepreneurial. From the age of 19 at Washington Park with the food truck. You know, started with a table, turned it into a food truck. Then with the DVDs, you know, Fonto companies, traveling companies, you know, a bunch of small companies throughout the years. But, now I'm in the cannabis world, you know, Fire Brand, that's my latest venture, you know, so we got some good things going on. You know, I'm going to stay active and keep my foot on the gas. You know, I'm here to just drop game, you know, just because I'm extremely active. And I've been
so I got a question for you, bro. Let's continue this. What's something you got to tell the youth? What's something you would tell the youth if they want to follow something like your footsteps? What would you tell them? How could they follow your footsteps?
Your closet should never be more money in your closet than in your bank account. Like if you open your closet and you got, I got these jeans, these sneakers, you start tallying it up and you got 20, 30, 40,000 in clothes in your closet, you better have like 40, 50, 60,000 in the bank.
Oh, so man, say that again, Albie. Hold up, say that again, Albie. Bring that back, man.
Never have more money in your closet than in your bank account. So this is what I teach my kids, real talk. Like, if you want to buy a new pair of sneakers, a new pair of shoes, make sure you save the $1,000 and you put it away. Not you got an extra $1,000. No, that $1,000 you ain't touching. It don't count no more. It's off the board. It's somewhere going. Then go buy yourself a new pair of sneakers. If you ain't doing this, then why you buying a new pair of sneakers, man? You go wear them shit till they fall apart, man.
Come on, man. Now, Albie, what made you want to get into this? Like, you've seen the cannabis lane, you've seen this, but what sparked it up? What said, I'm in this. This is my shit. I'm gonna do it. What motivated you? Let's get to that.
I would say in 2009, I dropped a DVD called What You Smoking On. And I went to Cali, and I just seen what was going on. At this time, I went to Amsterdam. I met Burner. He wasn't even Burner at the time. But, you know, it was no Girl Scout cookies or cookies. It was what we know. It was cherry, you know, some cherry pie. That's what we were smoking on. So,
oh man, that sounds like some gas. I'll be cherry pie.
Yeah, it was. So, you know, I'm running around. You know, I'm running around with the rappers. You know, we're going from dispensary to dispensary in Cali. This is 2009. You know, so just kind of seeing what was going on in Cali. It was just live. People, you know, you had a medical card, you can go inside and buy some weed. It was just like, back then, the bud tenders was actually smoking while they were serving people.
What? Yes, wait. So you saying back then the bud tenders was smoking?
They was burning it down and selling bud at the same time. I'm like, I want in. At that moment, I want in. Shouts out to the Jacker, because he was the artist that took me. Actually, rest in peace to the Jacker. You know, he's passed away, but he was the artist that, like, he took me on that tour, you know, and he was like, yo, we're going to go to my man's spot so we can smoke. And that's when we ended up at Burner spot.
So where do you see Fire Brand in the next 5 years? Let's get into that, brother. What do you see Fire Brand in the next 5 years?
The most important thing is to leverage it and grow the company. You know, like, I try not to get attached to businesses. I always think of, like, okay, what's my out? You know, like, that's most important in any company. Anytime you get in business, before you start that business, know what you want out of it. Like, do I want 1 million, 500,000, 200,000, 10 million, 200 million? Know that. And once you know that, you know how to leverage and turn it into something. Because 9 times out of 10, what I'm doing today, I ain't going to want to do tomorrow. You know, so that's how I try to get into business.
So that's going to lead me into my next question is, how do you keep your fire lit as an entrepreneur? Like, you know? As you keep going,
that's why you know. So whatever I'm doing now, what you see is what I'm doing, but what I'm working on is what's next. So I'm in the access of doing Fire Brand, but I'm already working on my next play. So you always want to make sure, you know, there's passion, because there's money in business. There's gonna be money days when you wake up and there's no money. So if there's no money, you don't like what you're doing, you're gonna just quit. So you got to be able to say, damn, I like this for the days where it's slow or there's no bread, and you can get up and continue to do it and figure out how to actually leverage what you're doing and turn it into capital.
That's a fact. So I want to ask you some questions, man. I heard through the air you got a collaboration with Gas Can. shout out to my brother Farmer too.
Yes,
but what's going on with Gas Can too?
Yes.
Pop,
so that's part of my new venture that I was just talking about, my next venture in cannabis. And, I was able to meet this young black man. He was, I don't want to say no names.
Shout out to him. He's in the building too, man. He's live in the building. Shout out to my bro.
Man, and try to, you know how it goes, man. I want to keep, he got to stay in the back for a minute, because if so, they're going to try to jump on this idea. This is like, it's worth some money. So sometimes you want to keep relationships quiet. But this young black man is smart, talented. He's very visionary. We had a conversation. It was just like, okay. I'm going to just say my brother Jay. We're going to just call him Jay to keep it simple. So me and Jay, we sat down. We had a couple of conversations. And from there, it leaned into like, all right, how do we take this venture that I got going on and kind of collab? And that's where we are right now. So, that's part of something else I got rolling out real soon.
So that's going to lead me into my next question is, how important is collaboration for you in business right now? How important is that piece?
I think collaboration is important in every business. So whether you want to call it a strategic partner or collaboration, but without strategic partners, you don't win in business.
Yeah, everything's strategic.
You have to.
And how long did it take you to find the right strategic partners in this game? I
would say you're always searching for people with good energy, with brains, smart. I really like doing people that look like me, that look like us.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I think that's one of my my pet peeves. I love working with young, smart black businessmen. Like, that's just because that's who I used to be. So, and when I was younger, like, older dudes never wanted to give me a chance. Nobody never wanted to give me a chance. Now, as they see me, they're like, I see you, young nigga. I see you, young man. I see you, young man. You doing your thing. I see you, young man. But it was never no support. There was never no, hey, let me give you access to, it didn't necessarily have to be money, but just giving me access. The only person that, outside of, my pops, he would always give me game and sit me down. But the only person in the city that really gave me access and sat me down really was Chill Will. Chill Will would sit me down and talk.
Oh, man. Talk about that. Hours. Talk to me about that experience. Who's Chill Will? Let's get into that.
So Chill Will, legendary Bostonian, had the body shop on Blue Hill Ave. Black and gold cars is his thing. He, property. He's a strong businessman, very entrepreneurial. And at the time, I was an accountant for McDonald's. I had just shut the food truck down. I had a transportation company. And I had just bought a house in Providence, 3 families. So I had some real estate, but I was more like doing a 9-to-5 thing for a minute and kind of just overseeing like 5 McDonald's accounts, like Eggleston, Roxbury, Washington Street, Dudley, Eggleston, American Legion, Cobbin Square. So I was running all the payrolls, paying all the bills. I was responsible for about $300,000 a week and kind of making sure that money was spent right and going in the right places and everybody was getting paid. And I was like, I want to do this DVD thing, And before, I would go see Chill. At first it was going to be a magazine. I was like, I want to do this magazine. I want to take King Magazine, The Source Magazine, and Black Enterprise and merge it into a magazine called Cheddar.
That's crazy, yeah.
But after doing the numbers, it was like, man, DVDs was popping, and DVDs were selling at 20, magazines were selling at 5. So you needed so much market you needed so much advertising in order to make money in the magazine space, and the turnaround was much longer, and the staff was much bigger. So, I was just early on the camera game. I don't know, I didn't actually, I hired an editor, I had a camera guy, and I just, I took some money, I pulled some money out of my house in Providence, the 3 family I had out there, and shit, I just put it into the business. It was like $30,000. I put $20,000 in equipment, $10,000 into the, the first DVD.
So what has this game taught you about responsibility? Thank you for that, Albie.
I just want to go back. One game Chill gave me, though, he said, do not leave your job until that money's making you enough money.
Yeah.
So you don't be messed up.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
I kept the job and I kind of maintained it. And then the gentleman who I was working up under, he was at a point where he was getting ready to get out the business and wanted to sell it back to McDonald's. A lot of the stuff.
Damn.
So, like, it kind of worked out, because I started making some money, and he was like, all right. And, at that point, he just let me go, and I was still getting unemployment checks. So I was getting an unemployment check, and I was making some money, and I just ran with it. But, shout out to Chill Will. Thank you, brother.
Whoa, shout out to Chill Will. That was a major shout out on the network podcast. So shout out to you, Albie. So what has the game taught you about responsibility? Because I heard you saying, a couple of things about, responsible. You had a lot of, duties and all of that in the game. So what has it taught you about responsibility, this game right here? Getting into cannabis, getting into entrepreneurship, what has it taught you about responsibility?
I think kids teach me more about responsibility, entrepreneurship, because I was an entrepreneur at the very beginning. I would say...
Well, at the beginning of your journey, when you did, what has it taught you,
I guess the most responsible thing you got to do is make sure your business is able to operate every day.
Exactly, because new people need to know this. When I first got in, I didn't know the stuff I'm asking you, so that's why I asked.
Operating, how do you operate the business every day? You know what I mean? So some people, they see it, they get a move, they make 10 grand, and they want to go to Miami, they want to go out of town, they want to go on they just want to go on a splurge, they want to pop bottles, throw money. That's the dumbest thing in the world, Joe. The dumbest thing you could do in the world. Put that money back into your business. Make sure you got enough. So a rainy day, at least you can still pay your rent. You can still pay your employees. You can still pay your vendors. So the most important thing, you can still pay your taxes. So those are the things that's going to look like. If you don't, now you're going to have a problem with the tax man. You don't want no problem with the IRS. That's the last thing you do. You don't want no problem with without being able to pay your employees. You just don't want no problem. You don't want no problem paying your rent, because then you can't operate your business. So you got to make sure you're responsible enough to make sure you can pay your bills.
Come on, Albie. I told you I had someone special coming in. Shout out to my brother Farmer. Shout out to Gas Can. Shout out to the Network Podcast. And also, shout out to... Come on, Gas Can, what it do? So, my next question for you is, so when it comes to entrepreneurship, right, what was the hardest thing you had to get through? Do you remember that, Albie? What was the hardest thing you had to get through to get to success? Let's get to that.
Ooh. I think every venture there's a different challenge. The more the further you go up and the further you grow, there's gonna be bigger challenges and bigger things within that. Like I said, I got a BS in management. I'm on an entrepreneurship in '99. That's when I graduated in 1999.
For real, damn, real OG over here.
So I've been active for many years in this space. I'm not brand new. I'm very seasoned. I should say the most important thing about being an entrepreneur is being in tune. You have to be in tune with the people that buy the product and the people that sell the product, or the people that help you manufacture the product. Whatever it is that you're doing, you have to be in tune with the front end and the back end to understand how to get the best results.
And what made your mindset like that, Albie? Because have you seen some things out of tune? You're like, I can't do it like that. Have you learned from mistakes in the past?
Because I always see people they want a business, but they don't understand the person that they're selling to, and they don't understand the person that they're actually getting the product from, or getting the service from, or whatever it is that they're bringing to the market. They have to be in tune with both sides. Yeah. So you've seen people only, either be in tune with one thing and not the other, and it just kind of fills you. They just think, especially in cannabis, people are like, oh, it's cannabis. I just, they think it's a lot of money because it's cannabis. Just because it's cannabis, if you're not in tune, you're not going to make money. You'll find yourself in a situation where you might not just be able to be in business long. Whether it's a restaurant, whatever type of business it is, you have to truly be in tune with what it takes to pull this venture off.
And what's the right approach in this business? What approach did you take trying to get in, or help other? Yeah, in cannabis. Yes, sir.
Like I said, once I shot that DVD, that was my education. I'm asking questions I wanted to know. So in 2009, it was like, I'm all right. Then once it became legal in Mass in 2018, I got an economic empowerment license. In 2019, I went and got a social equity license. So educating yourself is first. You better know, in order to know your business, you got to be educated in it. You want to know, and if you're not, you got to hire someone that's educated in them spaces. So at the beginning, I hired a real cameraman. I hired a real, editor. As time goes on, you learn how to do some of those jobs, because someday somebody's going to show up, and you want to make sure you know your business. But you want to know how to actually make your business run without you.
Albie, we appreciate you, man. That was a good 15 minutes, man. We went all the way insane. Any last words before we get out of here? I think we got 30 seconds left. Talk to me.
Oh, man, stay grounded, stay humble, stay focused, man. don't be worried about turning the weed off for a second to accomplish your goals. You know what I mean? Don't have to smoke every day. Some days you just got to turn that weed off. Some weeks you got to turn it off. Like, accomplish your goals first, and then you can spark up again. You know, there's plenty of times I'm like, man, no smoking right now. I gotta hit this goal. So I might go 2 days. I might go 2 weeks. I might go a whole month. It depending on what that goal is. But man, like that's the power when you can do that. You know, it's like fasting.